Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Little Nightmares themed podcast. Now, this is something we're going to be test trialing for now, and it coincides with a pilot episode for our co-host today, Leanne.
Hello.
Hello, Leanne. Welcome to this fresh new show that we are dubbing.
Okay.
Can you come up with a name? Because I really am struggling.
No.
Well, we'll creatively call it Little Nightmares Podcast.
Yes.
Well done, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Not a stream. Oh, I should really get back into that. Anyway, yes, welcome to the podcast. So today, I asked you, well, no, not today. This was a few months back. Months, Leanne. Months.
2 months, it's fine.
Oh, God. Don't give it an actual numerical value, please. It digs deeper. Anyway, I asked 2 months ago that I was doing a podcast with Leanne as a co-host, and I asked for some questions, and we got quite a good response. So, with that being said, I think what we're doing this podcast is babble a bit, talk about what people have asked, and obviously it'll come up on screens and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'll say now for the next episode, if you want any comments answered or questions, blah, 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 drop them in the comments below now, and we'll have a nose at them, and me and Leanne will pick our favourites, or just something that's topical.
Okay.
Is that sounding?
Yeah.
Does that sound good with you?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That sounds good with me. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, question one. Wow, not really question one, but the question is from Hunter Martin. 2 months ago, I'll add. How's life? 2 months ago.
Okay. We're all in a bit of a pandemic, and I hope everyone is staying safe and doing okay, because it's a bit scary at the moment in the world. But hopefully we'll have Little Nightmares too soon, and we can all be happy about that.
Well,
so
we can deal with the virtual pandemic then. That's in the universe of Little Nightmares. But yes, it's been a...
But I hope you are okay too, Hunter Martin, and I hope your
Everyone
life
else
is going okay. Yeah.
Very broad, isn't it? How's life?
Yeah,
I
how's
forgot what
life?
happened 2 months ago, as well as 5 minutes ago.
I
How did
remember that we were allowed to go out.
Was that 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh, we can hashtag this Corona now. Actually, better
No.
not. But with that being said, stay safe. 2 meters apart from everyone.
Yeah.
The usual. What we would do anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, thank you for the question, Hunter. It's always nice to catch up on personal life. I mean, have you got anything going on yet? I mean, apart from the app release and all the little bits like that, nothing major. A few theories. Doing a few theories together now, aren't we?
Yeah.
As many of you may know, Leanne did a few theories beforehand. Summer videos.
I've always been behind the scenes, but nobody's really known.
Leanne does lack the confidence to get on a mic, so
I'm
hopefully...
a bit of an introvert. I
Yeah.
don't like to... I love Little Nightmares. I love the hypothesis behind it all.
We have a great back and forth of it, is the thing.
When we just sit there, don't we? And we back and forth constantly of, can this be it? What is this? And that's how we come up with the theories. And that gets really exciting.
Look what I did, Leanne, today. It's Little Nightmares theme. You have to look. But no. Yeah, Leanne's helped with quite a few theories. I mean, what's the big ones?
I think the biggest one
Was
that I
the
came
song
up with,
one.
which you were like, what are you doing? And that was the
started
song theory.
You started the snowball, the song theory.
Song theory.
I did the guess
I
one.
said to you, didn't I? I was sat there and I was playing the game, and I said, Jord, this sounds like a song. Even though it's a bit jumbled, I think there's something there.
It's not English.
And yeah, it's not English, but there's
enough.
something there. It doesn't just sound like a bunch of words that are jumbled together. There is something hidden beneath it. So, and I noticed that with a lot of Little Nightmare stuff, there is a lot of hints.
Always
you just
something
don't,
beneath the surface.
there is a lot of hints and stuff that they leave behind, which you need to really dig deep for. So I appreciate the game for that.
Yeah. But with that being said, you've always known of Leanne.
Yeah.
But she's just never had the confidence of such
Introvert.
to get on a mic. Yeah.
Introvert.
So, if you like this, let us know, because Leanne, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be doing her own theory video soon. As if you didn't catch the other post I did, which was about a new host, Leanne is that Canada, by the way. So, yeah. Any other life questions, Leanne? Or are we good?
We're good.
Have we bored people
Next
enough
question,
already?
yes.
Yes, we've bored people enough already. Anyway, on to the next question. And forgive how I pronounce this. You know what? I don't even think I'm going to try and just say Ellie. Would you like to try and pronounce it, Leanne? Or...
No.
No, okay. So, thank you for the comment, Ellie. But I am not going to try and pronounce...
Just put it on screen.
Yeah, I'll do.
Put it on screen.
You're there anyway, it's fine. But yeah, thank you for the question. And they ask, what do you think will happen next to Six? Will she find a place that she belongs? Who will she meet next?
See, now this really intrigues me for a reason, and that's because Six, when we see her, she's obviously at the end, she's leaving the mall, she has all this power that she's just absorbed from the lady, but we also forget that because she's absorbed this power, she already had a power pre-hand, and we don't understand what she was before anyway. So it seems that she's very overpowered right now.
I think at this point she has more control of that dark power.
Yeah, she still has this kind of head on her, because what is her initial reaction? She leaves the mall. She still leaves.
She's confident enough to now pursue
to go,
whatever's
you know
beyond
what,
the lady.
I am going. That was always her aim.
I have had enough of this shit.
That was always her aim. You know, she went deeper into the mall. She knew where she was going.
She knew she was
knew
after someone.
where she was heading. And she, even after she gained all that power, she was leaving. So it's very interesting to see where she would end up. This is why I'm so excited for Little Nightmares 2. I just want them to clarify, is it going to be a prequel? Is it going to be a sequel? Because at the moment we're kind of in this limbo. They said that they don't want to talk too much about her power, which that's what sways me to more of a prequel, because Six's power is very much a
we said it
big
from the
thing,
start.
isn't it?
It was
Yeah.
one of my first things that this has got to be a prequel.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could follow up this as a sequel.
Yeah, especially with the amount of power Six has then.
And then we've had all that teaser stuff lately. And the fact they won't go into details with the whole how this affects this.
And
then
that
affects,
they're not really going to elaborate on her power throughout that game. It's going to be mainly about Mono.
It seems to me is throughout the story, Dave sort of conceived the idea that the power was the end game. The power at the end was to then go find the final whatever is the target, basically. But I'm just really, really excited to see the next one, even if it is a prequel.
So to answer your question, I actually don't know what will happen with Six, and that's purely over the fact that she has all this power. She ends up on the outside of the boat. So if we are talking in context of Six, let's say Little Nightmares 2 is a sequel, then obviously we know that she is able to get off the moor, she's able to find a place, and she has her next aim. But if we are talking in pre-context of it's a prequel to Little Nightmares, then obviously she doesn't have an end game. Her end game, she gets took to the moor, doesn't she? So
I feel like we could probably give that a better answer once we've played through Little Nightmares 2 and figure out how all the cogs
I think everyone then would
function.
be able to.
Yeah, I think that's the point they will try to. Once you piece together Little Nightmares 2, then Very Little Nightmares, then Little Nightmares together.
I know it sounds bad, but
like
I just
you have
don't.
a hierarchy of enemies.
I know everyone, because the first time we played through it, didn't we? We both turned round to each other, and the first thing we both said is, "Now I get why it's called Little Nightmares, because it's." You know, it's not called Big Nightmares where you have these big overtowering enemies. Yes. Shares.
Actually, it should be called Thick Nightmares for the shares.
But you know, it's.
Back on topic.
Yeah. You know, you don't have like a load of. I forgot actually what I was talking about. Thanks, Jordan. So. It's not called, it's not called Big Nightmares. So, it's called Little Nightmares. So me and you both turned around to each other and was like, Six is the Little Nightmare. She's the one going around just messing stuff up.
She's a right little nightmare.
Yeah. So, I don't get a bad vibe from, Six, because she's just aiming to get out, you know, with all the comics, with all the evidence we have of Six. I really don't get that vibe that she's intentionally trying to be bad.
I think she's surviving.
Yeah,
That's
surviving,
all it is. It's
100%.
survival.
So we're only
More babbling.
Yeah,
no, let's
next
move on.
comment.
Right. Six is cute. I think that's Indra on the Discord, actually. I can't remember how you say the name. I'm very sorry, Indra. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, sorry, Six is cute. Anyway, so they ask, in Twitter, Dave Mervick said about there are official free children in the Little Nightmares universe. Or whatever. So, the girl in Very Little Nightmares and the kids in the comic aren't official. What's your opinion about this? What interests me about that question in particular, then, is what tweet are you referring to in particular? Because I know when they started doing the original press in like 2016 or whatever, they only intended to do that sort of very narrow story. It's only these sort of characters. But during those years of it changing into Little Nightmares, things got added. Bandai came on and all that sort of stuff.
A lot of things actually did change with Tarzia and Little Nightmares. For example, you know, they actually did confirm at one point that Six was a girl.
Yeah,
she was
they
female.
confirmed that.
So, and then they went back on that. So there is a lot of, as Dave has said before. Dave has said that before. You know, and even he said that they have a back and forth with Bandai, where, you know, if things don't quite match up, you know, and stuff like that, they will change the law as it goes.
As well, I suppose they have to. I mean, realistically, Bandai throw in a big wall of money. Give us some back, sort of like, or whatever you want to do, like investing in Little Nightmares or Tarzia. They were expecting some expansion, at least. I mean, we saw it with Very Little Nightmares straight away.
I feel like I believe Dave with his law book. He has this law.
That's my holy grail. Is that
like
book.
As he said, like what I gathered from an interview, you know, if Bandai, they have a good relationship, and if Bandai don't if they go, oh, I'm a bit confused by this, or you know, he's like, oh, okay, you know, and they understand, and they can kind of, you know, have that good relationship. But as I said, you know, a lot of things change with Little Nightmares, but I don't actually really remember them ever saying that the comics aren't official. They never have said that. I remember messaging them about the comics, because it was when we couldn't get our hands on the third one, because we pre-ordered it. Do you remember? And I asked if it was cancelled, and Tarzia actually replied.
And they never actually said it was cancelled though either. They said it was just discontinued for the time being.
Yeah, it was discontinued. They said that they don't know. They said that they don't really have hands-on with the comics.
Because I think that's more within the publishing rights of Bandai.
Yeah,
because they own the IP, you see, and it's wherever they push it. Like the movie, for example, that's now, I wouldn't say dead in the water, or the series. I wouldn't say it's dead in the water, because it's still about.
Very big
it's still
people
kicking
to work on that.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think they aimed a bit too high with that. Like, at least go ground level with it. Like the Russo, like, I'm not a movie guy. But even I know the Russo brothers did like all the Avengers crap.
Big people.
Yeah, again, I'm not a movie guy, so I know that. So they're definitely not going to be doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe if they ever did want to pick that back up, it'd have to be bought by Netflix or something. Like, I don't know. Basically, in short, is, you know, things change.
Yeah.
I think in the long run, it might even change in Little Nightmares too. Like things that we've seen in Little Nightmares, one in Very Little Nightmares. Actually, no, scratch that. I feel Very Little Nightmares is set in stone. I think it's there for a reason.
No, definitely. I even said that. Like, I feel like Very Little Nightmares was actually put there to answer questions that we're going to have in Little Nightmares 2.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little kind of, here you go, here's a little answer that you're going to need for when you play this game.
I mean, realistically as well, and I mean, like, talking from, like, not like a dev point of view, but the game was made fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And it,
that you know of.
That I know of, it's been made within months. Like, to be fair, it's for half a year maybe. That's pretty quick. And considering it was a big IP, and the app has its few bugs and whatnot, but I think what sells that game the most is actually the story. Now, I haven't done a full Let's Play on the channel yet, but that's because the phone's always bloody breaking, so I can never do it. But I feel like if we really dissected Very Little Nightmares, like for example, there's always a painting in that app that correlates to something in the more.
They are very, very clever. Like, for example, we had Little Nightmares 2 under our eyes the entire damn time.
But then again...
Especially in the ladies' quarters.
Yeah.
That is where it's hinted at the most. That is where you are going to find the most Easter eggs for Little Nightmares 2.
Was that... Is the Runaways ladies' quarter version, isn't it?
The DLC, the ladies' quarters.
Because I was going to say, I think Dave's had this book from the very beginning. Yeah. He was prepared to take it past Little Nightmares. And it was prepared to go further.
I do feel like
they didn't intend to go this far.
Yeah, he always said, didn't he, in interviews that he never expected it to be as big as it
Because I feel like that's why they have to now do loads of like, A connects to B, and then we'll have to do C and But anyway, right, I think we've babbled on a bit on that one. I think we answered that, didn't we? Anyway, so let's move on to the next question. Thank you for that, 662.
Do you think Mono will die at the end of Little Nightmares 2, since if maybe a prequel?
I from the statue. Now, I liked...
What statue?
No, you know the statue that came with Gamescom? Only a few of them got it.
Yeah.
I feel like the statue is a bit of a hint to his fate. And I'm hoping that he... I know this sounds really horrible. I hope he does. In a terrible way.
Oh
my God.
Do you not think that we had enough trauma with the runaway kid?
Yeah, but I feel like it will build Six's character. You get...
She don't need no character.
Not to say, like... I feel like there's definitely some sort of story arc that's going to go through either one of them. And one of them is going to end up in a bad place, basically. Especially with the whole... statue, because like it just shows how...
I have a different opinion.
Oh, well, we'll see that.
I don't like. I just have this feeling. Like,
I mean, I get Mono could well be related to the more.
Yeah,
like,
but I could be completely wrong. But it also depends again. Is it a prequel or is it a sequel?
But the fact that you don't answer that bluntly always leads to me as a prequel.
But at the same time, I still, even if, let's say, forget everything else, forget our theories, etc. Let's just say Mono's a whole new person, new character, and it is a sequel. Yeah. I still don't think they would go for the kill tactic twice. I think they're expecting it.
Yeah.
Because
I'm expecting him to not be real, in other words.
we just because obviously what happened with the runaway kid.
Yeah.
I think they.
Spoilers.
We think we're expecting it. So I think they're going to go a completely different route, and I really do think they're going to try to surprise us. So I think they're expecting us to think that, right, he is going to die. That's 100%. Look what happened to the runaway kid. I do not trust you anymore, Tarzia and Bandai. You have ruined our relationship. That's it.
You ain't Dave.
All right, Dave.
Dave.
Yeah. But... I feel like they're going to surprise us.
I do feel like it's going to be like a real flip.
I could be completely wrong, and I will go back on my words.
Absolutely. You want to go back on words? This is tinfoil hat. If I really wanted to pull something completely out my butt, it would be he has the same presence as the girl in the comic. At just some point, he just dematerializes and has been a puppet all along to like the North Wind or something ridiculous. It's
the North Wind.
Where's that thing I made? It's the North Wind. To be fair though, they are quite interesting ports to go through in this universe.
Okay, yeah.
It is quite interesting. But yeah, anyway, let's continue on with the questions. Thank you for that, Eric. And Nikolai, aka Nico. Watching Six become more and more violent in Little Nightmares, starting with eating bread to then eating the lady. How do you think Six will behave in Little Nightmares 2? If Little Nightmares 2 is not a prequel. She did obtain the lady's power.
That is exactly what I said beforehand. That's what I'm gonna be most interested in, because how has she gone from literally walking past these guests and absorbing their friggin' souls,
vibing,
and their power, And now here's a little hint as well. If you actually go back and you play that, you can actually see that the guests are still twitching whilst they're on the floor.
They're not dead.
It's like they're not dead.
They've just
They
had
are
the
actually
soul
all
sucked out of them.
twitching, like they're kind of. But then again, some of them actually their necks break, so it's kind of a bit like, is this just a bug?
It's like
is this just an after dead effect? So. But yeah, that's what I'm most interested in.
I can't imagine how far it will go though.
Like,
if it is
you just imagine 6 and she comes off and she has all this power, then as George said earlier about the statue, maybe we kind of will see at the end of Little Nightmares 2, it just completely takes over her. If they end up facing the TV man and somehow she gains his power, or something like that happens, it will overcome her. It will get too much for her.
If she's got all this power and she walks out the mall, why is she waiting for a boat?
No, but that's the thing. I feel like she doesn't even know what's going on.
I know. She's
so confused.
There's
as
that
well.
disconnect. I feel.
Yeah, I don't
time.
even think that she knows what's going on.
Who's picking her up from the mall though? Is the big question.
I would love to know as well where
Mum,
she
pick me up. I'm
comes
scared.
There's me taking it all seriously.
But no, I see what you mean.
That is a very interesting.
But yet again, it's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Is it a prequel or is it not?
It all boils down to that.
It really
they
breaks the
knew
questions.
what he was doing. They knew what they were doing when they wouldn't disclose whether it was or wasn't.
No, they don't. Yeah, that's my point. They're
Because
definitely.
I think a lot of puzzles could be easily connected if they did. So.
You know what I'd love to see, and I know it sounds really cliche, and probably most people won't like it. Is I'd like to see. I hate saying it out loud, because when you say it out loud, you go, "Would you really?" But I'd love the idea if they went back and forth, like in a timeline. I know that sounds really stupid to comprehend, but if you saw her before it and then after.
Well, I enjoyed,
a chapter in each of it.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing Very Little Nightmares, and it was interesting to see other characters. It was interesting to see a different place, and it was just amazing to see.
The was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was just amazing to see a character that we thought was spoilers. A character we thought was 6 this entire time, because she's wearing that iconic raincoat, that yellow raincoat.
You know what the big thing is though? Can you imagine how many people have wore that raincoat, really? Because if it gets passed down this much, who is 6 then?
Yeah.
How many iterations have we had?
Well,
of this
we know now that it is 6 because they did confirm, obviously, Little Nightmares 2, it was 6. Yeah. And that's what gets me is, obviously she's putting on her raincoat, so.
Yeah, I feel like we've blabbed on again.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you for that anyway, Nico. And next question comes from Andrith Yu. I think that's how you say it. Apologies if not. Who is your favourite antagonist that doesn't appear in the game or hasn't been officially announced? So, choo choo choo!
Ferryman, 100% the Ferryman.
Or the Wax Bell. Well, you know what? I think all this blow about the Wax Bellman, I don't even think he's that much of a major character. I feel like that's why he was axed. I mean, what does he if you take everyone's role in the mall, what is a Wax Bellman? What was he? A receptionist? They don't really have any visitors, so what's the need? And everyone that turns up at the mall is hypnotised anyway, so they know what rooms to check into. But, yet again, Wax Bellman, I think he's really overrated.
Really?
Even though he's interesting.
He's very
he's definitely interested. But if you put it up against the Ferryman, hell no, I'd be on the Ferryman easily. And even there was one. What was that other character? Bloody hell! It was on a painting. He
was on a painting. There's a lot of characters on paintings, George.
But yeah, if you could even say that though. The amount of characters that are on paintings you don't see that do have some correlation. Look at Little Nightmares 2. How many paintings have we seen in Little Nightmares that now make sense to in Little Nightmares 2? Even the apple, for God's sake.
Yeah, okay. So,
I would say Ferryman though. Quite hands down.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Is there a reason?
I just think it'd be interesting to see what sort of side he's on.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a neutral
he feels
of
like
chaos,
neutral.
if you will.
Yeah, because especially with the comics,
yeah,
where he's saying, I can obviously promise you a safety, etc. But whatever
Well,
he says.
like,
I can't really remember
it
it
was
word
like
from
when I
word,
said-
but he basically takes them to the moor.
Yeah,
But then
it's
that's
not-
it. You're on your own.
Yeah, it's not as actually just cut and dry. It's more like you're in a crappy situation anyway. My situation is a little bit less crappier. Do you want to go? Sort of thing.
Basically, yeah.
But what does he benefit from? Like,
Yeah,
why does he?
why does he
these
do
bits?
that? It doesn't make
Like,
sense.
because don't
Yeah.
forget, he's the one that sort of shapeshifts as well.
Yeah,
He's the one in
yeah.
the comic that actually plays the part of the spoiler, the kid skill, the one
Yeah,
that
the
gets
sister.
charms.
The sister.
So, yeah, again.
How long
What
is
if
he-
Mono is the
how
ferryman?
long
That's such a bad idea. Anyway, but yeah, what if? What if? It's the big what if. Anyway, that's just a game theory. I can feel the dislikes from here.
To answer your question though, Andrew, you is definitely mine would be the ferryman.
Definitely the ferryman, or possibly Dr. No. Let's just not go there. We ain't got time for that. Anyway, next question.
Michael Dixon Jr. We need to know about two things. One is the Doctor. My
Hey.
theory is that the Doctor will play a big part in Little Nightmares 2, and the Hanging Man as the DLC will also find out about the Northern Winds. The DLC may explain about the whereabouts of the other 6 in the comics as well.
There's about 4 questions in that. So, I say, one is the Doctor. So, I think I researched the Doctor a bit more than you have.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
you
just
were
because
obsessed about, you like
at one
the
point I
ones that are
loved it
very
because the thing is, when I did the research for a lot of the theories, they seem to very correlate between the inspirations they took.
yeah.
Like, I can't bloody remember the name of it now, but it was that Paris, the French film.
Yeah.
What is it called? And the guy was called One in it, funny enough, like Mono. What was it? It was bloody hell. Anyway, in that, the basic premise is.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen because it's doing my head in.
Yeah.
But the basic premise was there was like a type of top tier, top hierarchy enemy, which would have been from the same sort of theme, the Doctor.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was a guy, I think it was Dr. Crank or something in the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
No idea what it was called again. Still, Dr. Crank, and he had the idea of stealing children's dreams or something because he couldn't have any of his own. Anyway, in short, he sort of matches that kind of description in what the creative director and everyone at Tarsia sort of aimed for. Like, when they say they take these inspirations from these certain things, you can really see it. Like, they even, what's the word? What is the other one? There is one where they took inspiration from the Ghibli studio, and I think that was for the. Oh, bloody hell. I swear it was something to do with the lady, if I remember right. But don't quote me on that, I'm really babbling. But yeah, but Michael's theory is that the Doctor will play a big part in the Little Nightmares 2. I kind of see that. I kind of maybe see the Doctor being the side piece to the TV broadcast guy. Or somewhat competition.
I mean, you can actually imagine the Doctor being more hands-on.
Yeah, like
in
that
the hospital
bit. Level. That must be his
100%,
level.
Yeah.
That's plausible.
That's how Little Nightmares works, isn't it? You've got the levels.
Teachers, you've got
you've got the levels. Like you've got the prison. You've got the
So, yeah, the Doctor would fit very well in the Little Nightmares 2 world.
Yeah.
We know so far.
Yeah.
And speaking from the story point as well.
The North Wind, 100%. Like, this is George's favourite topic, and everyone is the cause. It's the North Wind.
The winds of the people.
You asked George any theory, and he's like, I got it. North Wind.
Job done. Case
Job done.
closed.
Case closed. You'd be a really crap officer in the Little Nightmares universe.
He stole my purse, North Wind, mate.
Yeah, but he's already behind bars. Still,
North Wind.
North Wind.
Who blew that bag, North Wind? Oh my god, I've really got to cut it out with the North Wind. But yeah, in short, it would be an interesting DLC, especially if they took inspiration from the comic.
Yeah, but at the same time, the North Wind I do find interesting for this. Jordan. But just purely over the fact that his particle effect is is very, and he's shape-shifting.
Yeah.
So everything that we kind of get in Little Nightmares 2, this is where I get it gets a bit vague because it's you know,
don't know
the
who does
TV
what.
man. Yeah, the TV man. That all we know at the moment of him is he is literally a shadow in a TV frequency. That is it. Like, so.
The broadcaster's in the name, I suppose, but that's all we know.
And then, but you know, you have these children coming at you, which are obviously doll-like, which is like the China dolls
energy
that we chuck in Little Nightmares, which releases that same black particle
and that's the one that
mist.
comes off the guest
And
as
that's
well at the end.
Exactly. It all has that same energy. But if you go into the comics, that is literally
the energy of the North
effect.
Wind.
That the North Wind
and
gives,
North
and
Wind
it shapeshifts.
is really gets behind the representation of crows.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can dive into that for ages.
Yeah, crows.
But crows, you know,
Death.
we've been through the theories. If someone close to you dies, blah, 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 blah. Comics is a great example.
Yeah.
The kid's sister dead.
Yeah.
He knew that. He was playing with him all the time, sort of thing. But yeah.
This is what I find also interesting. Just a quick little interjection is the fact that the North Wind and the Ferryman. Well, the more, let's see, polar opposites.
Yeah.
They are against each other.
Yeah,
and
it's that
so
dialogue.
strange because, you know, it's crazy to think that they're these two enemies, but yet the more seems to be threatened by this other enemy. But
it's crazy to think that the Ferryman and the North Wind nearly had a face-off over this kid, like to a point where why did the North Wind stop? If it's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. The North Wind didn't have to go. No, but if you look at it really deeply, you can see that the North Wind didn't have to try just as much as the Ferryman. The Ferryman had to impersonate. And become.
He was there for a while.
Yeah, that guy, like that kid's sister.
The thing is, though, the Ferryman seems to more aim towards not
children.
Physical confrontation.
It's
more
like he's
manipulative
trying to take the children away from the North Wind.
Without
it's
knowing.
Like they have some type of power they need to keep thriving.
Child labour. The Moor just makes sweatshops under the sea. Oh, Ferryman, we're on to you, lad. But yeah, apart from that, so that was the Doctor... Ferryman, North Wind, Hangman as a DLC. Yeah, again, that's the same sort of thing, wouldn't it be, with the whole North Wind? The DLCs would be crazy if they took a lot of the comics inspirations. They'd be really good.
Yeah, I remember when we actually first played through the game, Jord actually turned around and said to me, "What if the Hangman isn't dead?" And I was like, "What are you on about?" He's just hanging there. There's a note on the floor.
Just hanging.
What game you playing? So
Hanging simulator.
Jord actually said, "Well, what if there's like this like entity that he is that is creating all this bad kind of stuff going on? Like you think he seems to be operating as a different thing
I feel like
else.
there's been a dig. There's been a big disconnect from his physical form to the TV, and he's transferred the big tinfoil hat of it was he's transferred his energy into the TV.
Yeah.
He connects through digital means now, transfers, radio transfers, and all that. And funny enough, it can correlate to what's happening.
Yeah.
So it isn't too far-fetched to believe, but that will take a whole video to talk about, really. I mean, at the moment, it's simpler to justify the idea that actually, in all honesty...
Hanging Man's a ghost and he is the TV man.
He's literally a ghost in the shell, basically. Yeah. But no,
He can only haunt you through the TV.
You trying to watch that channel? Nope. But no, I do feel like a lot of his story is interesting. And yet again, I will solemnly always say he's been killed.
100%. Like that was actually one of my theories. Yeah, I told you that the chair wasn't tipped over.
Oh yeah, that's what spiraled that one. Yeah, because we often back and forth it between one point to the other, and then we go, "Oh, hey, you could do something with this."
George, the chair wasn't tipped over.
You know, you say that, you couldn't kick that if he was hanging. Anyway, right, so, what question are we on now? 89 Broccoli Boy. Nice. The Little Nightmares 2 figure of 6 in mono. Do you think 6 in mono will have a boss fight? I wouldn't say boss fight, but I reckon there'd be like some sort of type of cutscene where it's like
I don't know.
they don't end in the right terms.
I mean, it could well be that. You know, it depends because, like, it's whether thinking that they would release something that would give away the whole game and the ending. Maybe they wanted to represent it in a different way, like, and go, oh look, this is 6, this is the power she contains, or they've literally gone, hey, here's a teaser. So if it was, then it could well be. I mean, if 6 has, let's say it's a sequel, 6 has all this power. As I said earlier, it could well just have overtook her. She doesn't know how to control it,
or she's being controlled.
And she's being controlled. You know, you never know.
But then again, I can't see him building this massive connection with the player in 6. Well, as you know,
I
now
can.
the player.
It's Tarzia and Bandai. Did you not see the DLC?
Fair, yeah, I mean. But I yet again, I can't see that again for the next one. I just can't. Like, it seems really odd to me to rely so much on 6 throughout the whole game just to then face off with her. I could get facing off with her against something, like you and her work together, but not her and you. I feel like that would be a real kick in the teeth and really dissatisfying to play. And I feel for a player experience, that would not go well.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. It like, as I said, it could just be her power, like representation of her power.
I mean, what was the
growing? It's become bigger than she.
The thing is,
I don't know. It could well be though. I mean, that's a very odd statue, and they went into detail with that, Jord. Like they've made that, and it's an an exclusive.
It'd be interesting to see if they sell it. Basically,
they aren't. You've asked.
I know, but I still feel like I feel like they're lying. I feel like it's gonna be a collector's edition item.
Well, yeah, they've only gave so many out.
No, not like that. I mean, like when you pre-order the game and stuff. I feel like it's kind of one of those things.
Oh, okay.
Like how they did with the first one.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like if they did that, then there might be more merit behind it. Because why would they give you something so irrelevant, basically?
It could just be 6 in power. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I just also, at the same time, I don't know why they would give this away way prior to the game being released, and why would they give away the end?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That doesn't make sense.
And if it is true and this happens, Bandai, you really need to change up your gaming marketing going on.
How do you market the end game? I just
No, but I'm pretty sure.
I can imagine it being a part of the game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, but not the defining ending of it and like stuff like that. But anyway, more babbling. Right. So next question. Lynch. What are you most hoping to see from Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2? Like what features, what gameplay elements? So I like the idea that they might well bring back. I love the idea of the fact they could well bring back whistling and things like that.
That was in Hunger though. That never happened in Little Nightmares.
Yeah, but it was a functioning gameplay mechanic. It was there.
But to be fair, if you really think about it, I can see why they took it out.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. Because remember, in Little Nightmares, you have to be quiet. Yeah. You have to be. Like, so for her to make a noise. Yeah. I mean, fair enough if you chuck something, because then you can literally make it the opposite of your direction. Yeah. Whereas if you're whistling, it's coming from your mouth. It's going to draw them. Yeah.
Aside from that, like I imagine all the normal gameplay mechanics are going to be there.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I got to admit, I do. If it ends up like anything like the runaway kid with the torch.
Oh God, that was a bloody nightmare.
And it turning on and off. No, thank you. Can you not? Please.
That was horrible.
Don't make a button that really means something to you to do the opposite of what you need. So if I as you know, the runaway kid, you're trying to point the torch towards the shadow, but if you click the analog in too much, it becomes a button that turns the torch off, and you're like, oh crap,
You're
I'm going to
panicking
die.
anyway, so you're already smashing the button by the point
No,
you've got
it's
it
not
aimed
that.
at it.
It's like you have to point the analog, and if you click the analog
Yeah, that's what I mean.
accidentally, it turns the torch off.
Yeah.
So you're like, I've just lost my source of power. How?
They're like, where's the candle?
Yeah. You end up
And to
running
be honest,
away.
that was that in camera perspectives. I hated some of the camera perspectives,
I
especially.
don't know. I liked it because it's like a dollhouse.
No, not like that. It was like sometimes you couldn't get a grip of where you were in the world. Like it was very hard to walk across a beam, for instance. In
Definitely.
In some cases,
It was a bit hard, but then I found that sneaking always helped.
Yeah,
with that,
yeah.
If you crouched.
But I mean, it's quite frustrating. Like I think the chef's kitchen was an example of this.
I loved the chef's.
Absolutely hated that part where you had to go across the beams. A lot of that
Oh,
time,
I loved it.
I always fell off.
Always
a good
grabbing
few
that
times.
bottle of wine and just smashing it on his head. He was not a
Aside from
happy
that,
boy.
though, I can't think of. I'd like to be surprised. I'm not
Okay.
gonna try and predict what they would do for Little Nightmares 2. I can guess what their gameplay is gonna be like. I mean, I really hope for an inventory system. I know that sounds silly, but just a small one.
Well, this
Just
is
something
why
to carry stuff.
I think
Because
that
you man
he'll
the
have the
secrets
key.
they're hiding.
I think that's why he has the
Yeah.
key attached, because you won't have to carry those big bulky keys around
Yeah.
like, both
You
my
just
hands are
strap it
full.
onto your
You
wrist
just go
and waist
bang,
cell.
done. So
One and done, son.
yeah.
All right, next question.
Saul Cohen, how long have you been aware of playing Little Nightmares? What do you spend your time doing? Things can make them not seem like a stranger. Okay, so I have been playing Little Nightmares ever since it come out. I'm actually the reason ItsJustJord got the game, because he was editing Dan Ball's video, and
I think I'll explain that.
yeah, he called me and he was like, can you just check this, see if it's okay? And I like to just, he just wanted my extra opinion, see if anything looked a bit off, or does this look okay? Because, back in my day, I actually used to make AMVs. So I was a bit of a pro. So I used to just sit there and watch them, and I actually turned round to Jord and I said, I really like the look of this game, which is not like me, because I don't like scary games. I don't like anything that's going to make me, jump scare, and I can't enjoy the game because I'm too scared to play it.
I think that's where Little Nightmares hits nail on the head there. It's not like...
It's not too bad.
They don't bait you into being jumped and stuff like that. It's atmospherically scary.
Yeah, so I've been
Which is
aware
scarier.
of Little Nightmares for a while. I was the first one to actually complete it, and then ItsJustJord did, because I kept saying to him, it's such an amazing game, please play it. I need somebody to talk about it to. You need to play this game. So he
Very
did.
ironic, isn't it? How
Yeah,
everything
and
turns
then
out.
and then actually, weirdly enough, it was Jord's idea to go, I need to make theory videos on this game. I need to do it. So he did, and he made the first theory video. So I've been aware of it for a very long time.
We did a Let's Play for this, if I remember rightly.
What do you spend your time doing? I literally just sit here and play games and theorise a lot.
Sorry. That was a bottle, by the way. Not like anything vulgar.
Jord's opening Dr. Pepper.
That's right, baby. Dr. No, Dr. Pepper. That's the only doctors I see.
But thank you very much for your question.
So, Dragonfly draws. Nice easy name to say. Do you think you would have played and enjoyed the City of Metronome if it ever came out? Like I said the other day, actually, I feel like we see Little Metronome. We see the City of Metronome in Little Nightmares all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, looking back at the gameplay, it looked very tedious.
I don't know. You know what's very
Again,
strange?
we saw 8 minutes of it. So
yeah,
who
I mean,
knows?
I haven't really looked into the City
No,
of
you haven't.
Metronome. You have. You've looked deep into it, but I haven't. I've only seen the character and, from, Little Nightmares and stuff, and then George pulled up, this was a game that Tarzia were creating and stuff like that. But I will say that I am very interested in any game that Tarzia create, because I was very much into Static.
Static was a good one.
Static honestly.
If you have not played Static, and it's by right, you probably haven't.
Yeah, they are very... If you like Little Nightmares and you love mystery, you love what if, what is going on here, Static is an amazing game.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, though. It is on VR.
It is only VR, and I kicked myself, and we nearly bought a PS4 for that reason alone.
Yeah.
But it's one of those hidden sort of gems of Tarzia. Like, play a game, it's funny as hell. And they did a live stream of the character, and it was great.
I literally tuned into that and it was
really
amazing. Like, honestly, I love Dr. Ingham. And
because I even did a theory video correlating Dr. No to Dr. Ingham.
Yeah, because no, they have the same.
They are. They're literally
red
very
tie,
good.
the white coat.
Go watch the video.
Yeah, it's literally, honestly, they are so good at what they do. I love how they put this new energy into games because, you know, nowadays when we play games, it is very predictable.
Yeah,
we kind of go, oh, we know what's happening. Oh, this is happening. And, you know, there are some good games and stuff, but it's so nice just being able to have that mystery and that creativity, the way you can go in your own head, what is going on here? What is happening?
You just sound like that video. What is going on inside their head?
That is literally Tarzia all over when they're creating games, and I love it. It's just new.
I love the fact as well they've even expanded now. And to be honest, I know it's bittersweet, but like the whole, I'm kind of can't wait to see what they do next.
Definitely.
Even if it is Little Nightmares, I'm really interested.
Definitely.
As a studio,
they are very good. Like, as I said,
good.
like Static, that's nothing to do with Little Nightmares, but it's such a good game.
If you have that, like lately, it's a trend. Like, it's a YouTuber thing. Like, fairy games are now like a big thing. Like, look at Bendy, look at bloody Petscop, look at all those sort of big FNAF. I need to touch FNAF really. I need to do that one. But that sort of thing is becoming a big sort of genre. And Tarzia, even though not very well discovered, they did not hit the nail on the head.
They really do.
Yes, guys, it's a damn shame it's just VR.
Yeah.
I asked Dave, if you ever hear this, please make Static. Just mouse look. It's fine, man. Just please.
I would love just for Dr. Ingham to sit down and review Little Please.
Let him play it.
Yeah.
Hello, what's this? That'd be a good one, actually. So I'm gonna add Dave.
Please.
Alright, Dave.
Just reminds me.
Just FYI, most of the viewers are American.
Yeah.
So let's clarify
when we say alright Dave, we're thinking of Only Fools and Horses, which is Trigger.
It was a big show, like was it like 90s
Trigger?
Or something?
Yeah.
It was quite an old show, basically. My mum watched it. Your mum watched it.
Yeah.
It's a British thing.
Yeah.
David, though.
Yeah.
What? Anyway, right, next question. Babadon again. Right, DB Bishop. I can't wait to see what you have in store for us. Prepare to be disappointed, friend.
Oh, no. I hope not.
Right, next question.
But thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Norfolk Monkey. Do you think that the world of Little Nightmares is a dystopia? 100%. And I can tell you why, because I'm always attracted to dystopian worlds. One of my recent other favourite games that I have played and which I became obsessed with is We Happy Few. It's very dystopian. I just become obsessed with dystopian games.
Isn't that the same for Inside as well?
Yeah,
A lot of the whole theory market is dystopian worlds. It's on point.
Yeah.
It's definitely. If I had a dystopian, I'd be worried.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for that, Norfolk. Right, next question. I see pickle. Dill pickle.
I'm just gonna say
Is that
dill.
Rugrats? Who do you think the school children of Little Nightmares 2 are? How did they get there?
That is really interesting, but it looks like, so far what we can see, that they are made because their heads aren't normal. They look like they're made of china.
Wow.
They look like they're made.
That's the new teaser. That's so recently.
Yeah.
Wow, and the trailer.
Yeah.
When you bash him over the head with the ladle.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're not normal. They look like they're created, and it's kind of like the teacher's trying to put back what is missing.
Yeah.
So it's
kind of like they're trying to teach them how to be.
Yeah,
kids in
she
a weird
needs
sort of way.
something.
Yeah.
It's the most oddest thing.
It's interesting as well, because if you watch the trailer back,
It's like
when they smack the...
if you actually look back, it's kind of like a different version of the lady and the Shadow Kids.
She could well be a governess. It doesn't actually necessarily
You know
mean...
how the Shadow Kids had the masks like the lady?
Just, it's a full porcelain this time.
Yeah, and she, the teacher has them sat down and listening like she wants them to, like they behave.
Yeah.
So when you and Six rock up in there like, hey, she's gonna notice you because...
Why aren't you sat down?
Yeah, she notices everything.
God damn.
It's terrifying.
How long is your neck be? Also, something really interesting. If you watch back on the trailer, you actually see that dark mist fall out their heads when you smack the lady.
Yeah, you do. Which is the same mist that comes out of the lady when you bite her, and they absorb in the guests and chuck in the china.
It's all gonna get misty.
Yeah.
Next question.
Do you think Roger the janitor is really dead?
No.
Mm.
Have you seen him? He's telling me a bit of an arm snip and he's dead.
There's both arms. The black mist came out of his arms though as well.
Yeah, that's more inky. I'm sure it's more inky. Either way, no. I really don't think he's dead. But then again, I don't think it's gonna be relevant. I don't think it's gonna be relevant.
I hope he's not, because weirdly enough, I like the janitor as much as... And I know that sounds crazy because, he's a bit of a strange boy. He likes spoons. But I don't know. It's strange because when he has his arms chopped off, it's they move without him being connected. But I reckon they obviously added just that input to kind of scare you, to be like, oh, he's not on.
if you want to be really about it, when his arms got cut off, he ran somewhere.
Look,
he didn't run around in panic. He ran somewhere.
All these questions. Why are we not questioning how he was able to do the runaway kid in and disrupt him, and also have his arms chopped off by Six, and be chased around most of the time by Six?
He's a busy bee.
He's very busy. Oh my God! Can you imagine if there was two?
Oh God. No. Oh, can you imagine them hugging?
Oh, that's a big,
They'd rap
hug.
about 4 times.
Yeah.
We can't let go. Roger, let go. I can't, Dave. Oh, right. Anyway, next part of that question.
But yeah, I don't know if he is dead. I'm not too sure. I think they would have killed him off if they chopped off his arms. He's going to be armless.
Mind you, I was just going to say, you saw how crafty he is.
But then again,
he's got no arms.
Yeah, but then again, with this, how they can input limbs that we're seeing in Little Nightmares 2.
Well,
you
it
never
depends
know.
how far that goes out. Then.
Yeah.
You might have just whacked a doll on his arm.
Yeah.
Actually, that correlates to the next part of the question.
Okay. Do you think the granny once could have played with the children in the toy room? You could explain the dolls in it. I love the granny. And
I love
weird.
the theory. I love the theory I did for that one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because yet again, if you haven't watched the theory, go watch it. I think it was the Granny Explained.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pinpoint a lot of the reasons why she could well have been before the lady.
Yeah.
Or was that yours?
No.
Or did we do that one together?
It was you. You honestly think that it's the granny who is in that picture in the room,
Oh yeah, that's what sparked it.
The red dress.
Because then when you get a better look at the model, her dress is actually a discoloured red. Like it's hard to explain, but like if you go into like Photoshop, it matches the profile of red.
I love the granny though, and I will say this over and over, is because she is the only new character they ended up inputting in the DLC. Yes, we see the Shadow Kids, but there's no actual big input other than the granny.
She was like your first new.
She was
character.
the first brand new, big, tall, enemy.
But she was actually scary.
Yeah, and there's so many things that we don't know about her, and obviously we ended her pretty quickly, and I'm kind of gutted about that because it was like, wow, she was terrifying.
Bit of electric though.
Yeah, but then you get the ladies' quarters and the mirror, and you see kind of a granny-looking person in there. It's the most strangest
thing. I really hate
thing.
that because I feel like they just reused that asset and then everyone got really confused by it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But
But, you know, at the same time, even if so, the granny, they would have had to go, okay, this is the character we're putting in here. Why is she there? How did she get there? And, you know, all of these other things. So they would have had to literally input this lore of the granny. And it's like, wow, how? Why is she there? There are so many questions about her that are not going to make sense.
The depths was a new area.
Yeah, it was a whole new area. We had a whole new big character,
Everything
and
in that
she's so interesting.
Chelsea was brand new.
She was. Everyone, I think, as well, forgets the original input of her. Like, apparently, she was abandoned down there.
Yeah.
Why? Why was she abandoned?
All the original site stuff, gone.
Yeah, exactly.
All the original stuff.
So
again,
there is somebody feeding her.
There
is somebody feeding her. Who is it?
Again,
and why?
That correlates back to what we were saying earlier about how the plot's always changing.
Yeah,
especially it's always adapting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the granny actually, when her first like character sheet, whatnot was listed as abandoned.
Yeah, she was abandoned down there. So that's very interesting.
She is being fed, and you know, it kind
someone's looking after her down there.
For instance, Purple Cat said. It could explain the dolls in her chapter.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how she has...
And there was a lot of homey stuff down there.
Yeah, there was homey. Like,
there was homey stuff.
Mind you, is it homey or was it more like
etc.
laundry focused?
Either way, she's still this whole new character.
Either way, she has more to do with the more than we thought, I think. I think she was definitely a big player.
Definitely.
Maybe when it was originally made the more, she was there the day one. Like, if you get me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how to explain it in a... without scripting it. But like, I do feel like she had a lot more impact at the start of everything rather than when the lady got put in, and like that whole hierarchy is like a nightmare to try and figure out, because
the more was
the
100%
biggest thing,
a different place than it was now.
Yeah.
So the granny could have well played a nanny for all we know.
For instance, you could be as tinfoil hat is to say, like, Little Nightmares 2 was the original. You saw them try and teach all these kids and make them learn how to be functional like normal kids. Oh, and then when everything went to crap, they put the schools in the mall originally, and then the mall got took over again, blah, 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 and it just... Where it goes, we don't know. But there's so much to go. Anyway, on to the next question. Thank you for that, Purple Cat. H said, do you think they should up the ante on the scare factor of enemies like they had with the chefs, janitor, and the guests? Like, make them more challenging and nerve-wracking to escape enemies and to try solve away from them? I think they've done a pretty good job of making it friendly enough to sort of approach it, but then also scare you at the same time. Like, even today, I still go, oh crap, when the granny gets me or something like that. I can still get caught out today. Yes, they could make it a bit crazier. Like, they could do like one that, you know, like it could get worse. But I feel like if they do, I feel like the pinnacle is going to be Little Nightmares 2. They're going to be the scariest we're going to see. And I just feel like they're that more mysterious, though. Like, the hunter looks terrifying. But then the teacher looks even worse.
Yeah.
So, I think they are up in the ante. I think they are.
I mean, yeah, I think they will up the ante in Little Nightmares 2. You know, definitely, because obviously from the first one, though, I do get where they come from, because I don't like jump scary games. They get boring, you know, it gets too scary to play. You're constantly distracted by the fact you're being friggin' scared all the time and jump, oh look, that's
The thing
happening.
is, as well, from a whole market point of view, it's easier to go broader than, like, you know, PewDiePie's niche of like a absolutely jump scary game. Not a lot of people play that. A lot of people watch it.
I
but they don't
do
play it.
think that I will, like, I've got to admit, and I'm just going to put it out here and I'm going to say it, that one of my worst,
Keemstar.
most annoying chapters of the whole of Little Nightmares was the second DLC.
Oh, the hideaway was terrible.
The hideaway. And
I say that all the time.
It was just so tedious.
It's not like it was terrible, but
no,
it was
so
just
tedious.
To be honest, it was so much.
The janitor
I
ends up
expected so
being in
much.
two different complete places
See,
at the
thing
same time.
is, the hideaway seemed worse than it did because the granny was so good.
Yes.
That's the issue about it.
Yes, 100%. That was
first-
amazing.
yeah.
because you get this brand new character
You're all hyped.
You're all hyped, and then you get to the hideaway, and it's the
It's the
friggin' janitor again.
Oh no, I love
And
you,
he's
Roger,
like,
but not again,
yeah,
mate.
come on, Roger. Calm it down. Are you not
And
on
then
retirement by
Even
now?
the gameplay of that was just
Chill.
fetch and grab. It was more just go get some coal, bring it back.
Bring it back, yeah.
Okay, yes, the ending spoiler of that
It was
pretty
amazing.
good. Yeah, that was a good way.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not enough for like. Don't get me
But
wrong,
it was
Tarzia,
tedious.
I love you.
I hope that it's less tedious.
If I rated a chapter, that would be a bottom.
Yeah.
Easy.
I hope that it's less tedious.
I don't think it'd be tedious. I think there's more to. I'm really looking forward to Little Nightmares 2 because you got to remember the second ones always do better. Sales wise, never do better, or won't do. Well, either way, they might do. But I feel like they always learn from the first, and there's so much to not learn
definitely.
from. But I feel like they did take notes from the community. I think it was Lucas on Twitter, one of the producers for Little Nightmares 2. He even said they fixed the perspective thing in Little Nightmares 2.
And they're making it longer, which is one of the main points.
Which thank you for that,
hopefully,
Lucas.
they up the ante.
I hope it is a good few hours.
But at the same time, I don't want them to get out of the normal Little Nightmares, anticipation.
Yeah. It's hard to build.
It's an anticipation scare, isn't it? Like,
I will be surprised if they can do that and keep you going, in a sense, without having to do some sort of errand in the game. Like, I feel like this game's gonna be more explory. Like, you're gonna get to do more around. Basically,
there was maps.
There was object. This is my point. I feel like there's much more to do.
Yeah,
in this one.
definitely.
But anyway. Next question. Colin Braun. Do you think the game will release around late April, like the first game 2 years ago? No.
No.
Big no.
I actually, weirdly enough,
they've
I
got
did
about
actually,
6 days.
I did actually think it was going to be April again.
I think that was just being a coincidence.
Yeah.
But with Corona going on, delays,
I'm going to say October.
I wouldn't even say October. I'd be a
Really?
Christmas release now.
I'll say October.
Yeah, again, Bandai's game, isn't it? It's like they're going to try and go for
But at the same time, they were really, they've been a lot more active, so it could well be June, July-ish.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you are going to argue that point, you are right. The fact that, the pages are actually really active, teasers are coming weekly.
Teasers are coming
I mean,
a lot.
They're obviously close enough that they want to share stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe May, maybe June.
Okay.
I would say May, no. June, maybe.
Okay.
I'd say it'd definitely be out by December. It's a
that's the end of the year. You got
I
no
can't
choice.
be wrong, so shut up. I'm fine there. What I've said is
Awful.
right.
Absolutely
Fairest.
awful.
Hey, I'm covering my back, But no, I do think they've got a good few months in them yet. Maybe 2 or 3, roughly.
I'm going to give them till...
June.
I think it's June. Yeah.
I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be either. I know it sounds silly, but yeah. So, next question.
Lindley, what do you think will happen in Little Nightmares 2?
That's for a video. That is so broad. I think loads of things are going to happen. I know it sounds silly, but I feel like lots of things are going to be answered. Lots more questions to come in.
Yeah, they always do that. Let's admit, right?
They don't want you to have everything.
Every time they give you an answer, they leave you with about 5 other frigging questions. So you're like, right, okay, that's been answered. But why is this happening? Who's that? Why is this there? So yeah, I think that they're definitely going to answer a lot of what we want them to. But they're gonna leave us hanging with more questions.
See, I think the burning ones we want to know, they'll leave us. They won't let us know. They ain't gonna let us know. They'll hold on to that till Little Nightmare 7 or something. But I really hope that we get answers, but I kind of like mystery.
Yeah, though I think that's the thing as well. As a community, we all want to know answers, but at the same time we don't, because that's what keeps the game so exciting. Is the mystery. It's different. You don't get to say, oh, this is the gameplay, this is the story. You have to come up with your own perspective. I mean, they leave that open to interpretation, and that's what makes the game so big.
I mean,
everyone can be right. It doesn't matter, people. Yeah, people can come in and be like, I think my theory is stupid, but I hate that saying.
If you can't prove it, then you can't.
Exactly. if you want to say,
It's like,
Mono is the runaway kid. Let's just say that. If you want to say that, then that is right until you are proven that it's wrong.
It's like
that's the fun of the game.
You could watch all the theory videos you like, even mine, someone else's, Game Beavers, stuff like that. Yeah. In the end, one of us is going to be wrong. One of us is going to be right.
We're all just theorising, and that's the fun of it. And it's just such a fun game to be able to do that too. I think we're very lucky to have it.
To be quite honest, everyone's been right about at least one thing at some point or another. We've had a few where we've been
come on.
that one.
Yeah.
So, but you don't try. You don't know unless you don't try. So there's no wrong theory till they tell you it's no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what was it? There was one about Six's mom.
Yeah.
Being the lady.
Being the lady.
And yet again, they still didn't say yes or no.
Yeah.
It was more along the lines of, just because you're in... No,
they did say yes or no.
Well, yeah, they did, but they didn't say yes or no, is my point.
No, they had to go the long way round and be like, if I was in the same place as this person, doesn't mean I'm related.
You wouldn't assume that's your mom, would you?
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more like, is it a sarcastic response, if you will?
Dave wrote it.
Yeah, that's Dave. But it's definitely, it's interesting. I like theories, and I like where everyone comes from, because everyone always has a different idea.
Yeah.
There's always something new. But yeah. So, next question. Toy Box Studios. Where did the children come from? I know they came from the Moorland, but did someone or something give birth to them? I think we've answered that a few questions ago.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. Is Toy Box referring to the children of the classroom or real children?
Where did the children come from? No, but that's the thing. That's a very broad question itself because that could mean all of them and not just the ones that are in the teacher's classroom.
Well, I imagine the normal kids, the birds and the bees, that's going to happen. Then I think the ones that are made are going to be made. You've seen it in the Little Nightmares 2 trailer, things get built. They have body parts lying about in that room.
Yeah,
and you even see on the table.
Heads, and it's very weird as well, obviously, because in Little Nightmares 2, in the classroom, you see that they all look similar. They all have a black bowl haircut.
It's literally a default NPC room.
Yeah.
Everyone is just the same.
You've got one of the kids in the class slacking. He's just kind of leaning on his desk, having a nap. It's,
There's no variation.
No.
But yeah. So they're definitely
I don't know where they would have come from. I mean, they're definitely being made. Yeah. Obviously, the ones in the classroom.
I mean, if you want to be...
Where those other kids came from, Six, especially Six, because we know she has powers. There's something different about Six. She isn't like other kids. Yeah. And we know that from playing the runaway kid. Yeah. We didn't have to stop every friggin' couple of minutes because he got a bit hungry. So we know Six is different. Runaway kid didn't affect lights.
Exactly. And not to mention, if you go by the comics again, they are born into villages, kids.
Yeah, they're just kind of villages, and they end up just being chased down. It seems like the North Wind. Wow, that's one of the first comics.
Oh, hello, Leanne. Welcome to the club.
Oh no, what have I become?
Bit windy today, huh?
But
it's like that fairy our parents got.
Oh no.
North Wind. But the comics is really good for explaining a bit of where those sort of characters came from, because they did all come from villages, and from what we saw in there as well, they seem to have a different type of world outside of the city. Yeah. Because in the comics you see pitchforks and them chasing down with a very old tradition. It's very, very. It's so hard. But I do feel like everything outside the city of the city of Little Nightmares is a little bit more calmer.
I would like to. No, I definitely that is very interesting because we don't actually see
it's safer outside
a normal adult human for example, in the Little Nightmares universe, I think, you know what? Weirdly enough, the Normalist, I've seen it. No. The Normalist, you kind of get a glimpse into that, is Very Little Nightmares. There's a picture of the Pretender and her parents. Yes, it's just the legs, so it's kind of like cow and chicken. But, you know, it's there, and, you know, they know that they're both, she had both her parents there and her there to take a photo.
To be fair, though, how do you know? They might just be legs.
Fair enough. Gets a delivery from Amazon. Oh, my legs have arrived for my photo shoot.
What is it? The shirt come with my trousers. But no, the Nest is a good example for that, though, because even the butler looks quite normal in a weird way.
Are you joking?
No, because like just
You've
how
seen him.
just how he's.
What game did you play again?
Apart from the levitation.
His hands are behind his back.
He's a formal butler, Leanne. He takes his job serious.
His
Full
hands
stature.
are behind his back.
That's how a butler rolls.
He's
In
floating.
his floats.
He's
Apart from the flowing,
levitating.
yes, that's. But he looks more like the normal proportioned, if that makes sense. Obviously, the craftsman's way out.
He's saying this guy's normal proportioned, and he's floating with his hands behind his back.
In that argument, then I said the lady. The lady's probably.
She floats and all, kind
Yeah.
of. Looks like she kind of just glides.
Whatever float she goes.
Glides.
Anyway, the last question for this episode of the podcast, which has been, oh my god, an hour long. Yeah. Anyway, next question comes from Junior's Odyssey. Go on, Leanne. You can read the last one as you're the co-host.
Now that a new company has bought Little Nightmares, what do you the future awaits for Little Nightmares? Could it be a good thing or a bad thing? And whatever happened to that Little Nightmares movie?
Oh, so I think I've done the most research.
Yeah, you did.
So
You did.
there's two ways you can take this question. So it's either the buyout from Bandai or the buyout from Embracer. So Embracer bought out Tarsia, which does not affect the Little Nightmares IP. Bandai completely own the Little Nightmares IP. So if Bandai see the sales do well for the next one, they could hire another studio to go and make the next Little Nightmares or whatever along that line. Little Nightmares Battle Royale. Oh my god,
Please
that'd be
don't.
so funny. He'd go whack some people with a ladle in a
Oh,
hundred
no.
players. But so in a sense, there's no change to Little Nightmares apart from the original creators aren't creating it, and yes, that is a big change if you think about it. But from the franchise's point of view, nothing's changed. It will still be there. Whatever happens, happens. Hopefully, now that they are probably done with games, I'd imagine, they could probably try and stretch out to the movie and stuff like that. Now they might have more time. I mean, the guy at Bandai, and I forgot his name completely, mentioned in an interview a few weeks back, I think, or maybe a few months. Anyway, but he mentioned in an interview that when Bandai originally took on Little Nightmares as the IP, they had plans for it, big plans, and that was the movie, comics, everything that followed. But even they said they aimed a bit too high and they didn't keep track of what was going on. In short, they started loads of projects and then forgot about them. That's, in short, is the easiest point to make there. But it's not to say that these projects have stopped, because technically they are still in production, they just aren't being continued. It's like the comics, for example, they're not actually cancelled. They're just discontinued. Wow, discontinued isn't the right word either.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit sketchy about the third one because that was due to be released and then they literally withdrew it.
I think that, yes,
I
again,
reckon that
an
was
issue
revealing too much.
Yeah. Yet again, it was the thing that I used to say. I'm pretty sure that there might have been an argument behind the scenes about what do they use for the TV show to what do they use the comics.
Yeah, because
What
they
could-
literally got cancelled around
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah,
Because
they did.
the message I sent and got an answer to,
Yeah.
and then literally about like a week or two later, there was the whole thing about the comic being
Yeah.
cancelled. So it wasn't very long between
Yeah.
the two.
But in short, yes again, anything could happen with the movie or the series for Little Nightmares now.
Yeah.
It depends on Bandai. I mean,
Yeah.
if you'd want it, I'm sure if enough people screamed for it, they might do something.
Yeah.
But yet again, it would have to depend on how well Little Nightmares 2 does. And to answer, the whole, is it good for the company and stuff, it depends what company you're talking about. Because Bandai, that's great. Bandai earning money from, I don't know, whatever Dragon Ball Z they're on at the moment.
I love Dragon Ball Z.
But whatever one they're on, they're fine as a publisher. Doesn't matter. It just depends who they can find to hire for the work. Like they did with like studios for Very Little Nightmares. They own the IP. They can do what they like. Tarzia have nothing to do with it now. Because once
that feels a bit weird for
I know
me, but I
does
feel
feel
like I know it's going to sound very strange for people, but it's kind of like when your parents split up. You know,
But it is.
You know, like things aren't going to be the same again.
It feels like,
but you still have it.
It's
the most weirdest thing.
It's like moving house.
Yeah.
Like you're from your family home.
I don't
Because
want them to leave.
The Tarzia team built the game. They've built the story. Everything from it.
They're the ones who originally made it, and you're so grateful for that as well. And
But
I
on
will
the flip side of
100%. It doesn't matter what Tarzia do now. I'm gonna follow Tarzia as well. And
But that's the flip side of it.
They've made
Because of
even
this,
Static. It's such an amazing game. So.
But because of the big buyout, because of like Embracer acquiring Tarzia, that's a whole lot of money. That's really good.
I'm really looking forward to what they make. I'm gonna.
But then it's also now the league is unleashed on Little Nightmares.
See what they
whatever
do
Bandai
with that. Yeah.
Bandai are now free to do what they do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends what you define.
All it really did is give us a wider variety of a studio to follow and to look out for when they release games. Because I mean, Tarzia, they may not now have, you know, any control with Little Nightmares, but they've made such amazing games that they are 100% worth keeping an eye on and definitely going for, because they're the ones who always release these games with this big mystery and that, you know, those kind of detective work that we really like. And, you know, with Bandai, they're going to carry on Little Nightmares. So
in short,
we win.
In short, it was a win-win.
Yeah.
But the only difference you might notice is between creative. Directory.
You might see
that's all that might
different
change.
Things.
Like, you know, don't jinx it, touch wood. Like, Little Nightmares 3. It won't have the same sort of, like, click that Little Nightmares 1 or 2 would have that Tarzia did with it. But then they might not take it that way. It might go a completely different way now. It might just be Battle Royale.
What is with you and Battle Royale?
I just want to whack someone with a ladle.
You'll get that in Little Nightmares 2.
Yes. Feels good. Anyway, with that being said, I hope we've answered enough of the questions, and we've babbled on for about an hour.
I know.
And 20
I'm one
minutes.
of those people
so
as well. That
if you've
I could just
minimised
talk
the
about
tab and you're working on a project or whatever, bring it back up now because we're about to end it, so you can click away.
I'm really sorry.
But with that being said, we'd like to thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.
Let us know if you want any more questions answered from us or any individual questions for each of us. Hopefully after this you'll see a bit more Leanne on the channel with her own videos. The upload schedule, I will say here, is bloody manic at the moment. With kids being off school and the corona going on, everything's shifting. So I can't put a point on when the next video will be out and all that jazz. So I will try to say one a week at least. I have about 3 scripts just ready. I have about 3 videos booked up, backed.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid. I can't get them fully out yet. It's so annoying as well. So yeah, again, the next video will be a theory though. So keep an ear out for that. But with that being said, we have rambled on. Leanne, what's your socials? I think it's at freaking. I'll just link you because Leanne doesn't even have a YouTube, I don't think. Do you?
No, I don't really use YouTube.
No, you're funny. Jesus.
I'm an introvert.
But yeah, so I'll link Leanne's Twitter in the description and Insta, and you know where to follow moi. Oui, oui. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed your morning, day, or night, wherever you are in the world. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we wish you a lovely
good day.
Existence.
Good. Yeah, existence. So I hope you're having a good life.
Anyway, we will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.